Derry Girls is a British teen sitcom created and written by Lisa McGee that premiered on the 4th of January 2018 on Channel 4. It's the channel's most successful comedy since Father Ted. The series was inspired by McGee's own experiences growing up in Derry, Northern Ireland in the 1990s during the final years of the Troubles. The series revolves around 5 teenagers living in the mid-1990s at Derry while attending Our Lady Immaculate College, a fictional girls' Catholic secondary school based on the real-life Thornhill College, where McGee herself studied. Produced by British production company Hattrick Productions, Derry Girls is filmed in Northern Ireland, with most of the scenes shot on location in Derry and some in Belfast. Although the plot lines of Derry Girls are fictional, the series frequently references actual events of the Troubles and the Northern Ireland peace process, including the 1994 IRA ceasefire announcement, the 1995 visit to Northern Ireland of President Bill Clinton and First Lady Hillary Clinton, and the Good Friday referendum of 1998. Archival footage relating to the key political figures such as Ian Paisley, Gerry Adams, Martin McGuinness, John Hume, and Mo Mowlin is shown via TV and radio broadcasts and family homes. The soundtrack features popular music of the era by acts including Ace of Base, Blur, Cypress Hill, Salt and Pepper, Enya, The Cause, and The Cranberries. The first series was broadcast on Channel 4 in January and February of 2018, becoming the most watched series in Northern Ireland since the modern records began in 2002. The series was renewed shortly after the pilot episode aired, and the second series was broadcast in March and April of 2019. A third and final series, set in 96 and 97, was commissioned for 2020, although filming was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic impact on television production and premiered in April of 2022. The final special extended 45-minute episode titled The Agreement, set in 1998 during the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, aired on the 18th of May 2022. Derry Girls has inspired a mural of main characters painted on the side of Badger's Bar and Restaurant at the 18 Orchard Street, Derry, which has become a popular tourist attraction. The cast includes Saoirse-Monica Jackson as Erin Quinn. Age 16 at the start of the series, she is passionate and ambitious with literary aspirations, but is at times either vain or overly concerned with how she is regarded by others. Louisa Harland as Orla McCool. Age 15 at the start of the series, she is Erin's detached and eccentric maternal cousin. Nicola Coughlan as Claire Devlin. Intelligent and studious and often the voice of reason in the gang, she is more intimidated than her friends by authority figures. At the end of Series 1, she comes out as a lesbian. Between the end of the Series 3 and finale special, she and her mother Geraldine moved to Strabane after her father's death, since Derry reminded her mother too much of Sean's death. Jamie Lee O'Donnell as Michelle Mellon, the wild child of the group. She often gets her friends into trouble through her keen interest in sex, drugs and alcohol. Dylan Llewellyn as James Maguire, Michelle's maternal cousin, who has grown up in London but comes to live with his aunt in Derry just before the start of the series. Out of concern for an English boy's safety in the local Christian boys' school, James becomes the first male pupil at Our Lady Immaculate College. Although the girls make fun of James, they care about him and eventually accept him as a member of the group. Everyone in Derry assumes he is gay, despite his protestations. Tara Lynn O'Neill as Mary Quinn, Erin's mother and the matriarch of the Quinn family. She has been married to Gerry for 17 years at the start of the series. Tommy Tiernan as Gerry Quinn, Mary's husband and Erin's father. He is from Navan and works as a delivery driver. He has a strained relationship with his father-in-law. Catherine Kira Clark as Sarah McCool, Orla's mother and Mira's younger sister. She is sweet but dim-witted, heavily focused on her own and other people's appearances. She is an inattentive mother and takes little responsibility for raising Orla. Ian McElhinney as Joe McCool, Mary and Sarah's father, and Erin Orla's maternal grandfather. He moved in with the Quinns after his wife died. Joe shows nothing but contempt for Gerry, constantly criticizing him and encouraging Mary to leave him. Siobhan McSweeney as Sister George Michael, a Catholic nun, the headmistress of Our Lady Immaculate College. She rules the school with an iron fist. She views being a nun as a job rather than a calling, treating priests with indifference or even contempt, and joking that she became a nun for the free accommodation. Now, I loved this show upon first viewing straight away. It's just such a cleverly written, well-acted show, and it's just atypical of British and Irish humour, where the humour is so down-to-earth and relatable, and the characters are too. Now, of course, there are slight political undertones to the show, but that's what I particularly love about this series, is that it still allows it to be light-hearted enough that you can work around the serious undertone that the series has. I love the way the show works around what I believe is an honest portrayal of how life was for teens in the Troubles, and how much was endured by families during that most awful of times. It portrays the events and circumstances with a sort of sense of normality, and doesn't choose sides, but rather portrays what it must have been like for both Protestants and Catholics at the time. Obviously, Lisa McGee, the writer of the show, is drawing from her own life. For example, I read that she really wrote a letter to Clinton's daughter Chelsea, as is portrayed in the one episode of the show. The show is purely grounded and relates the juxtaposition of the Troubles, violence, and teenage life, which I feel resonated with me as a viewer so well. Derry Girls has somewhat of a sort of dark humour, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. The writing of Derry Girls is fantastic, the performances are sublime, and the casting is just so on point. All the cast play off each other absolutely perfectly, and you have to listen so closely as they just rattle off as if they were talking to each other normally without any cameras around. Herein lies the beauty of this comedy, is that the actors don't seem like they're acting, it just seems like they're having a conversation, frankly. I also love the use of music from the time, and it just reminds you and takes you on a nostalgic ride of the 90s music scene, as it were, and it really adds as like another character to the show. All the cast are absolutely perfect here, and there's no particular actor or actress that I can pick out here, as they all just play their roles so perfectly, and I really look at this as an ensemble cast rather than a lead actor or actress. The one thing I have to note, though, is I couldn't believe how old all the cast are. Even though, of course, they're all portraying teenagers in the show, they're all in their late 20s or early 30s. Just shows you how well they play the roles. Each season is as well written and well put together as the last, and I'm kind of glad, albeit sad, that they decided to end the show after just 3 seasons. At the end of the day, it goes with the old saying, always leave them wanting more, and Derry Girls has definitely done that in spades. Derry Girls gets a 9.5 out of 10.